Welcome back, BoatFools Nation. I'm in the headquarters today in Camden, Maine, and with me remotely is Captain Kew. And today we're traveling to Sackett's Harbor, New York. Welcome to the show, Captain Kew.
Hey, Tris, thanks again. It's great to join you guys, and you're very kind to have me come on board and uh, and chat these boats up. What do you have for us today?
Well, you know what? You know a thing or two about boats. That's why we keep you around, right? So,
I've fooled you on that one. Yeah, go ahead.
so far, yeah. So today we're looking at a really beautiful boat. It's a Morris Francis 26, and this one's got a little bit of history behind her, just like Sackett's Harbor, New York. In fact, Sackett's Harbor is upstate New York on Lake Ontario and was the site of the first battle of the War of 1812.
Holy cow! Yeah, that's where I have heard of it. Okay, good. I used to sail around Fort Niagara at the end of the Niagara River all the time, and
Sure.
they did some shooting down there too. But tell me more.
Well, I am wearing a tie today because it's a special occasion because we're looking
I
at.
was I was going to comment on your sartorial splendor, and I'm very impressed. I'm very impressed. I think it definitely lends something to it. Could I run up and get my tie? I'll just.
We don't
Would you?
have that kind of time, Captain Q,
Okay,
but
all
I'm
right.
just gonna I'm just gonna say
Excellent.
that the reason I'm wearing it is because the yacht we're looking at today, and I say yacht is she's like a proper little yacht, and so I thought I'd get a little gussied up.
Well, you do look yachty. Go ahead. Let's hear about this thing.
All
Oh,
right.
wait a
I
minute.
just want to point out I see Sea Dog there
No,
lurking over your shoulder. Nice
Sea
to see you,
Dog.
Sea Dog.
Sea Dog never goes away. She's an easy feed, leaves nothing behind her. So Sea Dog, has got a lot of fans out there.
I just gotta excuse me one second. Look at this.
Oh, look, you've got a Sea Dog too.
That's what we call a seagull. She's a beagle that likes to go sailing every now and then. All right, well let's go take a look at this beautiful boat.
Yes. Yep. You've got a Francis 26-foot sailboat designed by Chuck Paine and built by,
Tom Morris.
oh gosh, yeah, that's pretty as can be. Pretty, pretty, pretty,
Yeah.
pretty, pretty. Uh, and this is small boats. Now, I have to recount to you and apologize to you because you came back to me and you were showing me pictures of an early Francis 26 that had sold for quite a large number, but she had no cabin top, no coach roof on her whatsoever. And I said, at that price, I can't get excited about these boats. Then you produced pictures of this boat and similar boats, and even the Lee, which is a 30-foot version.
Yep.
And I said, that's cool. That's really cool. I like what Chuck's done. I like that he's made, for me, a little miniature PB with
Yeah.
the
So
gun turret house and the flush deck all around. Yes, sir.
right
Good
there.
call.
Yeah. And so to your point, the original Francis, which was like you said, designed by Chuck Paine and built by Chuck Paine, up here in Camden, Maine, was a flush deck. And he used that boat to convinced Tom Morris to go into business with him. And Tom Morris built the first Francis models up in Southwest Harbor. And the inspiration for the Francis came from these fishing boats that Chuck Payne stumbled upon while he was hiking through Scotland or someplace. And he saw these, and these served as the inspiration to the design of the Francis, which he rendered here in a sketch, apparently maybe on the plane home or something. But that ultimately became the Francis 26, which he wanted to be a simple, seaworthy, low maintenance, easy boat to sail. And here we are with an early advertisement for the Francis. And funnily enough, this is our subject boat right here, Wildwood.
Well, there's no question where he got the concept from that picture of those fishing boats, and and to take that and to build a deck on it in his mind and throw a cabin on top of that eventually is really remarkable. He's done a great job. But do you know that there are sort of two Chuck Paines?
You know, he's got a brother,
Yeah, Arthur. And you know how
Arthur.
close they are?
Pretty close. I think Arthur Payne worked for him for a long time.
No, they're closer than that. They're twins.
Oh, they're, well, yeah, okay.
Can't get much closer than that.
Different
Thanks,
kind of
Mom.
close. Yes, closely looking.
And they're both brilliant. And as they were growing up, their mother came to realize that and this is his quote, that she had given birth to what was at the time referred to, no longer so, as idiot savants. And they're brilliant. And Arthur, I don't know that much about Arthur, but I have seen some of his artwork. He's a fabulous painter of marine seascapes. So there's just a lot of smarts in this family.
Absolutely. In fact, Chuck Paine has gotten into painting too, and I think he got his pilot's license, and he used to fly up to Southwest Harbor to go hang out with Tom Morris while they're building these things. So
I
um,
do, yeah.
these
Oh.
two uh, cabin trunks are a little bit different. You can see the different ports on these. This has two
Mhm.
smaller ones and a bigger deadlight on this one. But then here they are sort of match racing,
I
and
love this picture. I
I
love this picture.
love it. And they've got their tan bark sails. They're just, to me, the word that to best describe these boats is they're sort of irresistibly adorable, much like my beagle. Um,
Hmm.
and so here's our subject boat, and she's got a nice full batten main and a nice roller furling jib, and here she is just cruising right along. And I think because of their heavy displacement, it's a nice steady motion on the ocean for these boats. I think it's really a comfortable ride. And here is Chuck Paine's Facebook page showing our subject boat Wildwood with this beautiful paint schematic, which we'll get to in a minute. But and here's Chuck Paine looking at the Lee that you like so much with that same color schematic.
Was thinking of those two guys doing the match racing look.
Yeah,
They probably each felt like they were on a 12 meter at that point, and that they were cruising around, I don't know, Narragansett Bay and just having a ball with it because they're they're two match boats. That's all,
yeah,
and
exactly.
they're solid. They're not dinghies. These are not lightweight boats. What do we say?
No,
6,500 pounds or so, and 3,000 and 3,000+ in ballast.
yeah.
Um,
These
so
can cross oceans for sure. And
yeah.
here's actually, so the story behind Wildwood, the boat we're looking at today, is that Tom Morris bought her back in 2001 and did a refit on her. And here is Tom Morris sailing Wildwood, the subject boat, some years ago. Now, Tom Morris passed away in 2008, so this is clearly an old picture, but just a beautiful
Mhm.
boat. And then our seller found Wildwood down in, I think it must have been Connecticut, because that's her hailing port here. And this is taken the day that he found her in this barn. And you can see that she does not have a stern rail, a push bit here, and nor does she have a pulpit. And those were added by the current owner. But an interesting feature on this particular Francis, here she is again under plastic, is the not only the paint schematic, but this is how he found her, and he was going to have her repainted. And this is her being primed, and he saw her in this condition and decided, I really like this color schematic. And that's how he ended up finishing her, and this was the finished product.
It
Just
really
stunning.
just handsome. Hamptons can be reminiscent to me a little bit of Ted Hood's Robins that he used to design and race in that
Yeah,
sort of gray, light blue, gray Robin's egg blue sort of thing. But she's beautiful, absolutely beautiful, and
a
it's
really
just
attractive look.
if there was a person standing on the boat right now, it would add a different perspective. But as she sits there right now, you're not 100% certain just how long it is. How big is that boat? She has a bigness feel to it, and it's kind of hard to explain, but she just looks solid and hefty too.
Sort of like that
Okay.
that proper little yacht kind of look to her. She's
Yes, exactly.
yeah,
Oh, very definitely. You'd have to wear your tie on this boat, I'm afraid.
100%. Yeah,
Yeah,
her
exactly.
proportions are beautiful. And a neat feature about this boat is this sunken foredeck you can make out here. And
Hmm.
uh, one of the purposes I know is that if she ships some water while underway, that water will collect here and drain out these port and starboard scuppers and not go back and splash into the cockpit. And you've got that nice bulwark there to prop your feet against if you're doing any foredeck work.
Well, it's true. And then if you're at a mooring someplace down in the tropics and you get a good rainstorm, you can apparently plug up the drains on the up in that area, and you've got a nice catchment for
Oh,
fresh rainwater to be used not as your total potable water, but something to shower with and maybe wash some clothes and so forth. And if you had a good enough deluge, then you might easily be able to drink it as well. But so there was a double thing too. The other thing too that you and I both like and always comment. Notice the bulwarks.
Yeah.
They're 3 or 4 inches up forward, and even as you go aft on the boat, he's managed to get probably 2 inches anyway, all the way
Mhm.
back. And we like that, don't we?
We love that look. And it's a great feature while underway to have something to brace your feet against. And the other thing I wanted to point out about this boat is this traveler system for your main sheet. This was typically located on your bridge deck, which would be about here. But
Right.
a Francis 26 that we profiled exactly 2 years ago, Loon, he had modified this traveler system. He had Tom Morris do it. And Tom Morris then added it to this version of Wildwood, which is really great. Nice mug, by the way. That was handsome. That's a good looking mug.
I decided to throw that in there anyway, but it's missing a little dot there, but that's okay. That's no
We'll,
problem.
we'll add that at some point for sure. But a nice feature to get that traveler out of the cockpit, away from guests and your access down below decks. And
No, it's
it's a
terrific
great
way
look.
back there. That's actually that's kind of real old school because the old boats always had when you had tillers on them, especially back in the late 50s, early 60s, you'd have a traveler would run across the aft end of the cockpit.
Mhm.
So and the man steering the boat would be sitting further forward, and he'd be clear of it. Wasn't quite the problem, but with
Right.
wheels and bridge decks and other things becoming in vogue, then there's always a possibility that you could get hung. So yes, that's a great thing.
It's a nice feature that was moved, yeah. And you can see he added the stern rail here, so this is great for putting your grill on, for example, and just
Sure.
another safety measure. But here she is coming out of her fresh paint job with her new pulpit because she did not have this originally. So that and new stainless lifeline. So really nice upgrades that the current owner did. And here's another look at your traveler system there. But
I
just
was thinking when you first showed that shot to me, and the guy found it in the barn
mm,
and decided to buy it, that took a lot of courage on his part to take that beautiful dark green paint job off and go, you know, far afield from it. And it was successful, but
yeah,
still, I would have a hard time peeling. I'm a great dark green guy. I love dark green, but
I love a dark green boat, but he nailed it. This looks
yeah,
really great. And
absolutely.
here's a good view of her keel and topsides here, and her keel hung rudder and her two-bladed bronze prop that's in a nice aperture here, which is something I always like to see so you don't get fouled on lines and pots. But uh, as we noted earlier, this is up on Lake Ontario, so she's been a freshwater boat for since 2012, which is really
Mhm.
nice.
And she's cut away forward and then a
Mhm.
long run back to the rudder and a stern mounted rudder, which is interesting. And it provides an easy tiller situation. And I think this boat also uses a Raymarine
Oh, the tilt
auto
pilot.
tiller pilot.
Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you.
Yep.
So,
She
yeah,
Good point.
nice
She
bridge.
does have auto helm with the
And
tiller
she's not
pilot.
going to be, she won't be squirrely. She should be, once you trim her upright, she should just track very nicely and you'll have a very light touch on that chunk of wood you're holding on to.
Yeah.
So I look at that view. It's just so handsome. But
Well,
as I, go ahead.
I was just going to say, as we talked about in a previous episode, this is a boat that you look back at after you've left her on the mooring or the dock multiple times. She's so pretty.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
One other thing, as we talk about these things, the things occur to me. This would be a very inexpensive boat to own because you can't put 4 or 8 crew on board to go somewhere that you have to feed and
Mm.
house and transport and all that sort of thing. So there's no crew cost to this. It's just you if you want to, and then somebody you really like to join you.
It's a good point. This boat really is ideal for a solo sailor or a couple. Here's a good look at your cockpit here and everything within arm's reach.
I can
And
see that the coamings in those cockpit too are canted, aren't they? I think he made a point of doing that so that you didn't sit straight up like a tin soldier, but you could, lay back a little bit against that, and that makes little points like that make a world of difference when you're sitting there for hours on end.
no detail overlooked. Here's a good look at that sunken foredeck area here.
Hmm.
And
And
nice.
those, go ahead.
I was just gonna say a couple dray boxes and cowl vents for some ventilation. So it's a nice setup.
And those are solid bronze. Those are bronze wind vents there, as are the little skylight over the forward hatch. And there's bronze fittings all over the boat that are really updated, not just cheesy stainless steel, shall we say?
Hence the tie. Yeah,
So,
no, this. Oh, here's a good look at that. I mean, it's
hmm
beautiful. And obviously she was all gripped at some point. And the one quick point is that the hull is solid fiberglass. The decks are cord. However, around chain plates and other through hulls on the deck, it's solid fiberglass.
hmm
So
hmm
these are ruggedly built. And here's a good look at your engine dials here and your companionway hatch boards, and you've got a little porch you can see out, which is nice, and a little ventilation up here. Really just so sweet. Another look at her transom. Here she is on the hard. Look on the starboard side here. And the
No,
slopes again.
delightful lines, and he liked to design hulls that didn't confuse the water, as he said, if I can paraphrase it, that he wants water to just come up and go around the boat and not get confused with bumps and shapes and odd things. And he found that it just makes a world of difference in boat speed and handling. So it's easy in and easy out the backside. So
Yeah, smooth, slippery. And here's a good perspective of someone on board. I assume the current owner to give you a perspective of size relative, human
well, yeah,
size relative to
exactly.
the boat.
And again, he does show you that the boat's not that big, but it still sort of looks big even with him standing there.
And this boat comes with this custom boat cover, which is really nice to have. And these are not inexpensive, so that's a nice bonus for this boat to have that.
Yeah, Fairview, what do they call him? Fairview?
Fair cloth is one of them. I
Fairfield.
don't, or
Yeah,
fair clo, I think they pronounce it, but I don't
yeah.
think this is that. This looks like something else. Here's our companionway heading below decks. You want to go down and check it out?
Love to. I'd love to. Let's scoot on down. Get
All
out of the
right,
way.
here we go. Voila.
Oh, yes. Okay. T for two.
T
Perfect.
for two. I think that's a key point. This is good for two people. And before we jump in, I just want to point out that the cabin trunk that's raised here has 6 foot headroom at least. And
Mhm.
I'll put up on the screen the Morris Francis Loon that Canadian Ken and I profiled, had a similar doghouse like this, and I had plenty of room down
Okay, great,
below
great.
decks. But up in the V berth on this one, it's going to be a little bit tighter. I think it drops down to about 4 feet, but this is very attractive.
You just need to stand up somewhere down there because it's just if you stand, you've got to be able to stretch and put your clothes on and do stuff. But just sitting and having to bend up and try and wrestle yourself into foul weather gear doesn't
Yeah,
work. You got to have headroom.
I agree. And this has a nice little diesel heater, which is a really nice feature for those cold shoulder seasons.
And that little Wallace heater, they're great. They produce a tremendous amount of heat. But one thing about the design is that you cannot touch it and burn yourself. They just
Okay.
stay warm themselves. They
Okay.
circulate the air. Uh, Great system. You
Yeah.
get a
But
guitar with the boat, huh?
say again?
Did you get the guitar with the boat?
I don't know if that comes with it. That's a good question. But the intro and outro music, I believe, is by the seller, and you'll hear that
Oh,
later.
great.
It's really
Cool.
attractive. Yeah, he played us a little song. But the nice ceilings here are all wood. All this wood looks in beautiful shape, and you've got a stereo system. You got some speakers, and it's just a happy little space. And here is your head. So it's a little confined up here, and there is a nice modesty curtain that you can slide across.
Uh, I think I'd probably ask for the hatch to be closed and sealed.
It depends. You might want some ventilation, but
No, the head is there underneath those cushions. I take it. Is that the
that's
location?
correct right here. Yeah, but absolutely lovely. And looking back toward the companionway, you can see you've got a alcohol stove over here, and you've got an ice chest back here somewhere. So great for, overnighting here and there, gunk holing, and with her shallow draft, I think she's less than 4 feet. You can tuck into some thin water. So here's looking from the V-berth back toward the main salon area. Keel step mast, which is always nice.
And that stove is by the way, is one of the unpressurized alcohol stoves, which I was corrected recently about the availability, but if they're still there, they do work well.
And nice little chains to hold open your ports. I mean, every detail has been thought of on this boat. It's
And those are bronze ports too,
yeah.
just like it's the hardware up on deck, not just plastic with little toggles that sort of keep it tight.
Exactly.
That will keep the sea out.
And here your array, there's your Garmin chart plotter, and you've got various electronics. But here's some footage of her sailing. Now I can't make this any larger. It is what it is. But you can get a sense of her motion and just she's cooking right along.
You know what that brown thing is we just went by?
I'm not sure which brown thing you were
There's
talking
another
about.
one. There's another one.
The bamboo on the shrouds.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was going to say my guess is to help prevent chafing on your jib or Genoa.
Well, it's actually that, and I would probably put. I always had them on the boats. There's one there on the upper shroud on each side, and then I'd put one on the forward lower because it allows the not. It's not so much for chafe, but allows the sheet and sail to roll around the shroud when you tack. Yeah. Otherwise, you'll get a knot or a shackle or something that'll hang up on just a thin wire. And they're made out of ash or mahogany. And it's a nice little winter project. You take them off and take them home, put them in the basement, sand them all down, varnish them, put them back on with a piece of tape, and you're set for the season.
Sure. Here's some nice footage of her steaming right along here. I wish it was a longer piece, but
look at that go. I mean, look at that go. Look at the motion. I'm impressed by her motion in the water. She's a musher, what we used to call mushers. She sort of rises up to the next wave and then just settles into it. Doesn't pound on it, just settles into it. That's a really nice motion. And that will keep your crew happy as well with that motion.
Yeah, she's going to be very comfortable underway. And as we mentioned, she's a very stiff boat. This is the Nani diesel being started, and this was updated in 2001 when Tom Morris took over ownership of the boat. So the diesel starts instantly and runs beautifully. We don't need to hear any more of that. But so the motor we think has what, 300 to 400 hours on it?
That's what we've read. Yes. That's like new, right?
Yeah, it's like barely broken in. So here's some footage of her at her slip, and boy.
The engine is a Kubota block again, like the Beta engines that we've seen. So you've got parts available for it everywhere.
Yeah, and Nani is a French engine, right? It's
Nani is the French version. The Beta was the English version using the same components.
Okay. And I think this is a good look at your side decks and just looking down down to the bow.
It's wonderful, and the side decks are wide. She's got inboard track sheeting in there, so he's made a point to try to get her to sail to windward as best she could, as opposed to some racing machine with a fin keel and spade rudder. So yeah, this is going to track like crazy. Haven't seen what's in those hatches, but I believe, having not seen any quarter berths, which I'm not crazy about anyway, you're going to have good storage for sails and fenders and lines.
Yeah, absolutely. So those two lockers are probably chock-a-block full of lines and fenders, and as you just said. So he sort of goes around the interior of the boat. We've seen most of it, so we're not going to spend any more time here. But the chain plates are visible, and you can access those, which is always nice. All right, so here's a look at the sailboat data on the Morris Francis. So her length overall is 26 feet, length on water 21 1/4, beam just over 8 feet. Ballast 3,500 pounds, and her displacement 6,800. So those are going to crank out some healthy numbers, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. It's going to give him a ballast displacement ratio of over 50%, I would imagine, if you do the math.
Yeah, we'll check that in a second. And as we mentioned earlier, her draft is under 4 feet. So you can get into some skinny water, which is great. And more than 200 of these were built. A very successful yacht for Chuck Paine and Morris Yachts. And to your point, there is that ballast displacement of nearly 52%. That I haven't seen that in a boat in a long time, especially this small. That's astonishing.
Usually around 40% we get excited and say that's great, but 50% something else.
Wow. Yeah, exactly. So She holds 15 gallons of diesel and 15 gallons of water. And, her displacement to length is 3/16, so she's a heavy displacement, obviously. And that comfort ratio of around 28 and a quarter. So that's near that 30 mark, which to our point earlier, she's going to be a comfortable ride.
I think so. And in the good old day fashions where you just get out with a sort of a musher boat, she lays over a little bit, you prop your feet up on the opposite cockpit seat and just sail away and have a great time. And a motion that's going to be friendly to sometimes to people whose stomachs aren't always the best. So I think she'll be good.
Yeah, if you're prone to seasickness, this boat is for you.
Right.
And then, of course, if you're afraid of capsizing, this boat is also for you because their capsizing screening formula is under 2 at 1.73. So these are great
She'll
numbers.
definitely, she'll come back up. She'll come back up.
So no need to fret. I
No.
mean, what a special boat. And so what do you say we wrap it up? Well, Captain, what'd you think of this one?
Oh, fun, Tris. A fabulous boat. It was. I just love the look of it. I felt like I was on sort of a, though I wasn't on it, but I felt like we were in the presence of a small PB, like a little miniature PB. Actually, it would take two of these to make a PB. But anyway, she had that turret cabin look to it, the flush deck, the flat decking, and the cabin trunk. I just loved it. And then watching that video would sell me if I were out there looking for a small boat right now. That last video you had of her mushing across some little slight chop. I don't know where that was. I guess that was probably up in Lake Ontario, wherever she was. But
Exactly right.
and that can get pretty choppy up there. But no, it's a great boat. It's a boat for two people. One person, if he wants to or she wants to, not a problem. And if you had a couple of kids, you might squeeze four in there. But no, it's a two-person boat. Have a great time and really feel safe at sea.
Yeah.
And know that you're on a boat where everything that should have been thought about has been taken care of. So, yeah,
Yeah.
nice boat. Good
Yes.
find. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's a very special boat. And uh, we will put the seller's contact information below. We should mention the asking price is $44,000. And what I particularly liked about this boat is the provenance behind it. The fact that Tom Morris bought this back in 2001 and refit it and then sold it to the current owner in 2012, who's had it on freshwater since. I think that's a great backstory to it. You got the old advertisements that she's in. I think it's a really special boat. So really appreciate everybody tuning in. And please don't forget to click like, subscribe, and share. Don't forget to sign up for the Boat Fools report on Substack. And if you're looking for consultation in your boat buying process, check out the information on the screen. You can speak to the captain or me, and we can help guide you through the process. And I think that's it. So everybody, if you enjoyed this episode, check out the one in the upper corner. It's either left or right. I don't know which one it's going to be. And thanks for tuning in. We're trying to get to 30,000 subscribers. So we appreciate all your help. Everybody, take care. Thank you so much. Thank you, Captain. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, Tris.
All right.
Bye, everybody.